Everyone thinks they know how people work, but most behavior isn't logical. It's instincts, wiring, and strange patterns buried deep in the brain. These psychology facts reveal truths about yourself and others that most people overlook. Before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss the secrets about how the human mind really works. Here are 15 fascinating insights. 1. Talking to yourself is a sign of focus, not madness. When you put your thoughts into words, the brain doesn't treat them as background. It treats them as commands. That's why athletes, surgeons, and even chess players whisper through steps to sharpen precision. Self-talk creates clarity where silent thought might scatter. Your voice becomes your own coach, and your brain listens. 2. Messy handwriting often signals a quick mind. The faster your brain produces ideas, the harder it is for your hand to keep pace. Scribbles and chaos on the page may look careless, but they are traces of thought moving too quickly for ink. Some of the most creative thinkers leave unreadable notes behind. Disorder on paper is often evidence of brilliance in motion. 3. Negative words stick longer than positive ones. An insult echoes for days, while praise often fades by morning. Evolution trained the brain to remember threats more vividly than rewards, because safety depended on it. Missing kindness never killed anyone, but missing danger could. That's why pain carves deeper grooves into memory than love. 4. Multitasking makes you slower, not faster. Every switch between tasks forces the brain to reset, burning energy and lowering sharpness. The temporary IQ drop is similar to losing a night of sleep. You feel busy, but your clarity erodes. True productivity comes from depth, not division. 5. Doodling anchors memory. When you draw absent-minded shapes during a lecture or meeting, you're not tuning out, you're tuning in. The hand's motion frees cognitive resources, letting the brain absorb more. Studies prove doodlers recall more than silent note-takers. Scribbles are secret memory tools. 6. A racing heart can be mistaken for love. Fear, thrill, or attraction all trigger adrenaline and a pounding pulse. The brain sometimes labels this rush as romance. That's why roller coasters and horror movies make dates feel more intense. Sometimes passion isn't in the heart, it's in the chemistry. 7. Mirroring body language builds trust silently. Crossed arms, tilted heads, matching gestures. These are subconscious signals of connection. When someone mirrors you, they're saying, "I feel safe with you," without words. Rapport grows faster when bodies align. The body confesses what the mouth hides. 8. Quiet people see what others miss. While talkers dominate the space, silence sharpens perception. Quiet minds read patterns, faces, and emotions overlooked by louder voices. Stillness isn't emptiness, it's focus. The silent ones often see deepest. 9. Rejection hurts like physical injury. Being excluded or ignored activates the same neural pathways as a bruise or cut. That's why heartbreak feels heavy in the chest and loneliness aches in the body. To the brain, social loss is survival loss. The wound is invisible, but real. 10. Small lies smooth social life. The average person lies once or twice a day, not with grand deceptions, but with fragile shields like, "I'm fine," or "I'll be there soon." These aren't betrayals, but cushions, meant to reduce conflict and protect feelings. Honesty may be noble, but kindness often wears disguise. 11. Chewing gum sharpens memory and focus. The rhythm of chewing increases blood flow and awakens alertness. Students who chew during exams recall more, and soldiers once used gum to stay sharp under stress. It isn't flavor that helps, it's movement. A small habit can give the brain an edge. 12. Calm in chaos often comes from old scars. People who appear unshaken during storms often learn composure young, under pressure. Their nervous systems were trained by fire. What looks like natural strength is survival forged by struggle. Calmness is sometimes a scar that looks like confidence. 13. Creativity grows when the brain is slightly tired. At night or in exhaustion, mental filters weaken. Wild ideas that would normally be rejected slip through. That's why late-night notes or tired ramblings can spark genius. Fatigue isn't only weakness, it's a gate to originality. 14. Dark humor reveals resilience. Laughing at pain is not cruelty, it's transformation. Those who appreciate dark jokes often cope better with heavy realities. Humor becomes armor, turning wounds into something survivable. To laugh at darkness is to steal its power. 15. Night owls often resist authority. People who thrive in late hours are more likely to question rules and norms. The quiet of night gives them space for rebellion and independent thought. Many innovators and misfits did their best work in darkness. Midnight belongs to those who don't conform. 16. Imagination rewires the brain like real practice. When you picture yourself performing a skill, whether it's playing piano, running a race, or giving a speech, your brain fires many of the same pathways as if you were doing it physically. That's why elite athletes visualize entire games before they start. The brain rehearses, and the body follows. Imagination isn't fantasy, it's training. 17. People with fewer friends often prefer depth over noise. Instead of chasing a crowd, they focus on a handful of meaningful bonds. These friendships are built on loyalty, honesty, and shared understanding, not surface-level chatter. Their smaller circles protect them from betrayal and burnout. For them, quality is worth far more than quantity. 18. Writing down worries before sleep empties the mind. Anxieties that circle endlessly in your head shrink once you trap them on paper. The brain treats the act as resolution, allowing your nervous system to relax. That's why journaling before bed improves sleep. The page becomes a container for fear, and rest finally feels safe. 19. Talking to strangers makes people happier than they expect. Simple exchanges, a hello to the barista, a chat with a neighbor, trigger social reward circuits in the brain. These micro-connections boost mood and lower feelings of isolation. People underestimate their power, but studies show they lift happiness for hours. Joy often hides in the smallest hellos. 20. Silence is uncomfortable because it forces reflection. In conversations, most people rush to fill gaps with noise, but silence isn't empty. It's full of self-awareness. It shines a light on thoughts many prefer to ignore. That's why quiet moments feel so heavy. They turn your focus inward. 21. Swearing often signals honesty more than aggression. Profanity bypasses filters of politeness, allowing raw truth to spill out. People who curse tend to speak with less disguise, showing their real emotions. Rough words can carry more sincerity than carefully polished sentences. Sometimes, honesty sounds messy. 22. Music with lyrics divides attention. Your brain can't fully process your own thoughts while decoding song lyrics. That's why classical, ambient, or lo-fi music boosts concentration, while lyrical songs distract. The language centers overload quickly. Silence sharpens the mind, but pure sound can guide it. 23. Couples who laugh together are more resilient. Inside jokes and shared humor become glue that holds a relationship steady. Laughter reduces stress, smooths conflict, and creates intimacy faster than romance alone. It proves both partners see the world through similar eyes. A relationship with laughter outlasts one without it. 24. Deep empathy feels like carrying someone else's pain. Mirror neurons fire when you see others suffer, activating the same brain regions as if it were your own wound. That's why compassionate people sometimes cry when others cry or wince at another's injury. Empathy isn't imagination, it's biology. To feel for someone is to briefly feel with them. 25. Daydreaming is the brain's hidden problem solver. When your mind wanders, it isn't wasted time. It's rehearsal and experimentation. In those drifting moments, your brain tests scenarios and makes new connections. That's why breakthroughs often happen while walking, showering, or staring out a window. Creativity hides in idle thought. 26. Chasing happiness makes it harder to find. People who obsess over being happy often feel emptier because happiness isn't a goal, it's a side effect. It comes naturally when you live with meaning, growth, and connection. The harder you chase it, the more it escapes. Joy arrives when you stop hunting. 27. Walking speed reveals health and lifespan. Those who walk briskly usually live longer, with stronger hearts and healthier bodies. Doctors use pace as a predictor of vitality because energy shows itself in movement. A slow stride may reflect fatigue, while a quick one signals life force. Every step is a clue about your future. 28. Memory changes every time you recall it. Each time you remember, you rewrite details, influenced by your current mood and perspective. Over time, the memory you hold may look nothing like the original event. The past is not fixed. It's fluid, reshaped by the present. Memory is a story retold, not a film replayed. 29. Overthinking is intelligence turned against itself. Smart minds generate endless options, but too many choices can trap action. Analysis becomes paralysis, freezing progress. The gift of deep thought can transform into the curse of endless loops. A sharp blade cuts both ways. 30. Compliments trigger stronger rewards than money. Being recognized lights up reward centers more quickly than cash. Humans crave validation, belonging, and acknowledgement as much as food or shelter. A sincere compliment can energize someone for days. Recognition is one of the brain's most powerful motivators. 31. Hearing your name grabs your brain instantly. Even in a noisy crowd, the sound of your own name slices through like a spotlight. It activates attention networks tied to identity, forcing you to focus whether you want to or not. That's why people lean in when their name is spoken. It feels personal and powerful. Your name is the sweetest word to your brain. 32. The color blue calms the body and mind. From oceans to skies, blue signals safety and vastness. Looking at it lowers heart rate, reduces stress hormones, and creates a sense of peace. That's why bedrooms, hospitals, and meditation spaces often use it. The brain reads blue as protection. 33. Emotional events burn into memory more than neutral ones. Love, fear, and grief are stored like tattoos, while ordinary days fade quickly. The amygdala ensures emotional intensity sticks for survival reasons. That's why people remember breakups, weddings, or losses decades later, but not what they had for lunch last week. Feeling is memory's ink. 34. Smiling can generate happiness instead of reflecting it. Even a forced smile activates dopamine and serotonin in the brain. Over time, your mood begins to match your expression. This fake it until you feel it effect proves that actions can shape emotions. Sometimes rebellion against sadness begins with a smile. 35. Enjoying solitude signals emotional independence. People who are comfortable alone don't fear silence or absence of company. They recharge from within, relying less on constant validation. Solitude sharpens creativity, resilience, and self-awareness. Being alone is not weakness, it's quiet strength. 36. Anger often hides softer emotions beneath. Explosive rage feels like control, but it usually protects fragility. Beneath it often lies shame, sadness, or fear too vulnerable to show. The roar is a mask to hide the wound. What looks like hostility is often heartbreak disguised. 37. Sharing secrets bonds people more deeply than time. Confessing something private is an exchange of vulnerability. It signals trust and invites intimacy. That's why whispered truths can create closeness in days that casual talk never could in years. Secrets are glue for relationships. 38. Reading fiction grows empathy like exercise for the heart. Each character you live through is a rehearsal for understanding others in real life. Stories teach you to feel perspectives you've never experienced. That's why avid readers often sense emotions others miss. Books are empathy's training ground.